fellow Pennsylvanian last night, Corey Comperatore. I just spoke to Corey's wife and Corey's two daughters. Corey was a girl dad. Corey was a firefighter. Corey went to church every Sunday. Corey loved his community. And most especially, Corey loved his family. Corey was an avid supporter of the former president and was so excited to be there last night with him in the community. I asked Corey's wife if it would be okay for me to share that we spoke. She said yes. She also asked that I share with all of you that Corey died a hero, that Corey dove on his family to protect them last night at this rally. Corey was the very best of us. Just a fellow Pennsylvanian last night, Corey Comperatore. I just spoke to Corey's wife and Corey's two daughters. Corey was a girl dad. Corey was a firefighter. Corey went to church every Sunday. Corey loved his community. And most especially, Corey loved his family. Corey was an avid supporter of the former president and was so excited to be there last night with him in the community. I asked Corey's wife if it would be okay for me to share that we spoke. She said yes. She also asked that I share with all of you that Corey died a hero, that Corey dove on his family to protect them last night at this rally. Corey was the very best of us. Lost a fellow Pennsylvanian last night, Corey Comperatore. I just spoke to...
We're live, Sammy. We are back. What a fucking weekend, my friend.
Hey guys, you ain't kidding. What a weekend. It was incredible. I mean, so many things to talk about. You know, obviously the shooting of Donald Trump. There's so many things to talk about. But I really want to start off and say a prayer. We all say a prayer for a guy named Corey, and I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, but we all know who he is. He was killed when the bullets were flying. He jumped over his family to protect his family, caught a bullet, and died. There's two other guys who were hit or in the hospital, still under critical. That's all I found out. But they're alive. And I understood, I can't get the research on it, but a woman got hit in the hand as well. My phone went crazy when this happened. People know that I have the t-shirts, you know, with Trump, and I'm a little bit of a Trump supporter. I'm more now than I've ever been. So if you want to call me a Trumper, I'm a Trumper. You know, the guy, when he gets shot, really showed what kind of a man's man he is. He tried to get his shoes on, pushing people out of the way, blood running down his face into his mouth, his hand, fist pumped up in the air. That's a fucking man's man. That's a man I want to be the president of the United States, to lead us into wars or get us away from wars and run the country. So, you know, I can almost, you know, I've heard so many stories about Joe Biden. He would probably shit himself, been crawling on the floor, crying like a baby. That's what we have as a president. This is what we need as a president. If anything showed me his character and what he really is, this guy was willing to take a bullet because he loves us, he loves the country, and he really wants to make America better again. And I think he said it all by getting shot, and his reactions, he said it loud and clear. I'm sure he didn't try to act tough or do anything like that. I'm going to tell you a story when I got shot. I think some of you guys may have heard it already, but I want to tell it again today. I was shot in the same exact spot. Mine didn't hit the ear. It hit on the side of my head. I'll tell that story. I don't know if I should tell it right now, but you know, it's more about him. But I got so many calls. And I've seen so many people, Joe Rogan, Megyn Kelly. There were so many people talking. Megyn Kelly wasn't a great fan of his. I heard her talking today. She says, I'm going to vote for him, and I'm going to make sure I get to the voting booth and vote. If I have to walk on glass, I'm going to do it to vote for him. He really showed me what he really is. And this is what these kind of situations brings out. So I want to say it all, I sympathize with the people who were there. They're at a rally, legitimate people at a rally. They're wearing a mega hat, Make America Better, and you're going to shoot into this and that. So, and I want to give my opinion because I spoke with a lot of people. Some of my people in Hollywood that I'm working with called me up and talked to me about it. I said, as a former hit guy, and I understand how to do a hit and an assassination. And if this wasn't one, I'll kiss your grandmother's ass in Macy's window. Listen, here's the thing. Here's a 20-year-old kid. Here's my explanation of it. A 20-year-old kid who's never cracked an egg, never done anything in his life. He was registered as a Republican, and he gave some donations to Democrats. A perfect person to use in these crimes, because I've grown up in this JFK era. Same bullshit. A lot for us to not understand or know. But I'm going to make you understand it my way of thinking. Here's a kid, 20 years old, didn't own a gun, never shot a rifle, never did anything, supposedly. He comes in my opinion, he's bribed with some money. He's trained for weeks and weeks to do this hit. The people who are training him, when he does the hit, they're going to kill him immediately. He has no background, so nobody really ever will understand it if Donald Trump died, why this kid did it, or this, or that, or the other thing. Now, think about it. It's 150 yards, the shot. That's 300 feet. That's the size of a football field. It's a tough shot. He's on a roof. He's on an angle. Makes the shot tougher. The wind is blowing. You see the flag. That kind of distance could move a bullet a little bit. He knows what he's doing. Now, let's get to the part. He's climbing on a roof with a rifle. We have videos. There's dozens of people are screaming to cops and the Secret Service people and pointing him out. Yeah. Nobody does nothing. A cop supposedly climbs up. He points the gun at the cop. He comes down and never comes back and never says nothing.
What a joke, Sammy.
As soon as they see him, they got to be screaming, "Get him off the stage." Nobody did that. So this to me is a planned hit. Very well planned hit. Now, I watched it, I saw it over and over again. Donald Trump moved his head a couple of inches, and the bullet, instead of hitting him in the forehead or right in the middle of his face, and it would have blew his head off, it hits him to the side. It grazes and hits his ear. If he doesn't move that 1 inch or two simultaneously while the trigger is pulled, he gets hit right face forward, and he's dead. So there's no question that this kid hit a shot and a half. It's not an accident. This is a professional hit, as far as I'm concerned. This is my opinion. And then when he dies, they turn around and they give you that bullshit. He was a nice kid. He was misunderstood. He has no background. He has no nothing, no reason. So nobody's to blame. Another thing that struck me, he shoots 8 bullets. It takes a matter of 2 seconds to 3 seconds at the very most. How did they all of a sudden find him and shoot and kill him? Story closed. It's too quick. Now, I know when I cooperated with the government, even me, they have snipers on roofs, they have helicopters looking at roofs, they have the sky stuff that they use, all that spy shit. That's what they look for. They got people on the ground for the people who are close to him, and they have all this other stuff. Roofs are one of the biggest things. Now, as he's climbing up the roof, people are screaming and pointing at him. There's a guy crawling up a roof with a rifle. No one does anything. No one is supposed to do anything. Donald Trump is supposed to die. They did everything to smear his name. They indict him 3-4 times. Some of the cases are actually being thrown out now. I'm going to make Anna talk about one of the cases that, I mean, everybody, prosecutors, everybody's caught lying. They threw the case out. So what are they going to do? They can't stop him. What's their fear of him? He knows what they do. He knows them. He knows how to rob. And he's going to burst their bubble. He's going to stop it. So now they're going to take him out. My advice to Donald Trump right now is to watch your ass. It'll come again. You got until November. Watch what you do. Not only he does that, he goes right to another rally. I'll guarantee you, when he walked into the back, he must have said, put a bandage on my ear and let me go back outside. That's the kind of man that we want, I want, as the President of the United States. You want to call some of these leaders like Putin and these gangsters. He's a gangster. He's a straight up gangster. And that's what I want as a president. Somebody who's not afraid of other leaders, other countries, and wants to do the right thing for the people. I've seen so many black people now on these things going crazy for him, loving him. Do it, brother. You're making the right move. And my Mexican friends, Italian friends, every friend I have in the planet, go for him. Because he cares about us, people. And it's not about me. It's about my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. One is about to be born. That's what I'm fighting for. Not me. My life is over. My life is done. I wouldn't even be fighting. But this is what we have to do it. Otherwise, we're complicit. And I tell this story all the time. 20 years from now, if we do nothing, our grandchildren are going to they're coming to you guys. And they're going to say, Grandma, Grandpa, where the fuck were you in 2024 when this country turned and we have to live with this shit? If Donald Trump dies, we lose our freedom. Period. Now, they don't want me to get too political. I hope that wasn't too political, but I can't help it. I really can't help it. I get shut down, I get shut down. Whatever they want to do, they do. But if a man could stand up like that, then I could stand up and say what the fuck I want to say and what I believe in. Until I lose that, then I think I'll lose that when he's dead. But for now, he's not dead, and I'm not going to shut up. So I love all you guys, you know, and I'm talking to you. I know I'm talking to my people. I know you guys, some will agree, some may not agree, I don't know. And that's our country, that's the way it's supposed to be. So
Sammy, when I know you're one of the men in the Mafia that you regretted hitting was Johnny Keys, and one of the famous quotes from one of your best stories ever told was, "Take my shoes off." He had a request, "Take my shoes off."
absolutely.
My wife will know I was thinking of her. What did Trump say when they stood him up and he was pumped the fist saying, "Fight, fight"?
He was trying to get his shoes,
Oh,
either
man.
off or on or whatever he was doing. But he wasn't worried about a second shot.
Nope.
He was worried about his people in the audience. He was worried about our country. He had his fist pumped. Let me tell you, I was shot in almost the same exact spot. You don't know if you're going to live or die, especially blood is pumping out of you. You're nervous, you're scared. He wasn't. He wasn't. I'm sure he was a little nervous. I'm sure he might have been a little scared. But his first thought was us, the people, and the country. That was his first thought, and one of his only thoughts that I saw, I recognized. I saw no fear in him whatsoever. And I saw this guy is willing to die for us. If we're not willing to get up off our ass and go vote for somebody like this, I don't know what else we need. Somebody who's super good looking, a woman. What do we need? This is what we need. This is what our country needs. You, your kids, your family, your neighbors, your friends. The people who died for this country. That's what he did. He did that all wrapped up in a ball. You can't make this shit up either. When you're under pressure like that and you're hit, and again, I know the feeling, you don't know if you're going to live or die. You don't know if the last things you do, this is it. And he did nothing but think about us and the country. That was his first thought. He probably thought of his family. He probably was a little nervous.
He was angry.
He was angry. And so...
And then the guys, the supporters, all looked at the camera and they're like flipping the camera off like, fuck you! Fuck you!
Right.
They were going nuts.
And I saw another video all around the world. Where the hell is it? The UK. Different countries rooting for him, saying he can help the world. They see it. They see it all over the world. I saw another thing with Putin. I'm going to say something crazy. This I'm going to get in trouble for. I love Putin. He's a gangster. He's got a fucking brain. He said, it doesn't pay to attack the United States. They're folding within. They're falling apart within. You don't have to shoot a shot. They're committing suicide themselves. And he's saying it's a shame. He don't want to fight us. Biden keeps sending tanks and missiles and money for those people to fight him. It's amazing that this man held his temper and didn't press buttons and shoot missiles. What we're doing is an act of war against Russia. Right. I thank God that he's got a brain. And he actually likes Trump, respects Trump. That's what we need. To keep peace, it's two tough guys who understand, don't want to lose it all. They understand one another. They're able to work with one another, and that keeps peace. What Biden is doing, $100 billion, $200 billion to Ukraine, missiles, tanks, to shoot at them. You think that's peace? That's going to stop something? That's only going to make this guy so fucking angry that it's crazy. Thank God he's holding himself. Thanks God he's not a piece of shit or a lunatic, because he would have fought back already. We blew up his pipelines. We did everything to this guy. Right. And he hasn't reacted. It's not because he don't have balls. He does. And but he's got common sense, something Biden don't have. So I wanted to get that out there before we started. And we got a bunch of things to talk about, questions, answers. But I wanted to get that out there in the beginning to say, God bless him. I hope God watches him. When I got hit in the head, I always believed, I believed in God. I believe it was a guardian angel. He might have my same guardian angel. Got hit in the same spot, just about a fraction of an inch difference. And I survived. He survived. I hope he goes on to survive and straightens this country out once and for all.
Amen, Sammy. I want to give please give a shout out to TJ Lepore, one of your friends that was actually fourth row at the rally, sent incredible footage to us. It was posted on the weekend over Sammy's on his stories, and he said it felt very weird there. It was a very ominous, eerie feeling before Trump came out. The wind was blowing weird. The flag was blowing. It was straight 1 second. and then all of a sudden a big gust of wind came and the flag just kind of topsy-turvied and it formed an angel, he said.
I saw that picture.
Oh my God.
I saw that picture. Yeah. And I got some messages from there too, personal on my messenger, that they were there, that they follow me, and they were telling me things, and they were telling me, they were screaming. They saw the guy going up the roof, and they were screaming.
Right.
There's a man climbing up on the roof with a rifle. This is regular citizens. You mean the Secret Service don't know it? They were screaming. They were pointing at the Secret Service guys, pointing to the roof at the guy and screaming it out. They were running over to cops and telling them that this thing needs a big investigation.
Well, the cop went up the same ladder the shooter went up to confront him and then came back down. You know, it reminded me of Uvalde. Remember the Uvalde school shooting where all the kids died?
He ran away.
Yes.
The cop did this. The kid pointed the gun supposedly at him. He came down and he went away. Listen, he didn't even report it. If you would have reported it to the Secret Service on the stage, this is minutes before the shooting, they would have took him off the stage. But they left him there. Why did they do that? There's so many whys right now. But unlike the JFK, that we'll never know the answers, I think we should and could know the answers of all of these whys. The head of the Secret Service is a woman. She's not even coming forward to talk. What happened here? Now, I don't think it was Republicans or independents. If it's a plot, who do we think? I'll leave that to you. I won't even say it. But it's so obvious that who's behind this, who can't shut him up, who can't stop him with indictments, smearing him, everything, all the smears, the Russian connection, all these bullshit things fell apart. And now they just threw out another case with him. They caught the prosecutors lying. The prosecutor has admitted to everything under the sun. They hid information. They got the files and put them there, rearranged it to make it look like, I mean, this is crazy. And the judge saw that and threw it out. And not that the judge is great, but the judge had no choice. I mean, this is a confession from them. Who did it? So
in Georgia with the election interference, with all that.
With the election interference, all of that stuff is thrown out. I mean, his other case, he gives $130,000 for some fucking slut, and he's indicted for that. I mean, it's crazy.
I'll take 130. I'm good with that.
I mean, yeah. But I'm saying it's insane of a case.
Stupid.
Is that a criminal thing? To have sex with a woman and pay her to shut up? Well, I should have been in jail fucking 50 times, I think. So, you know.
Now, Sammy, do you think that 20-year-old kid was in fact the shooter and had some kind of training and this and that, or do you think there was another shooter and he was the fall guy?
No, he's a sacrificial lamb. Here's my opinion, what I would do on a hit. I would get a kid like him. He's, an outsider. He's not friends with other kids. He's a quiet kid. He's got little mental problems, whatever. Give him a history. Make him a Republican. Make him make some donations to the Democratic Party so that the research that they're going to do is confusing. You don't know what he is. Give him some money. Tell him in the future you're going to make a ton of money. Train him for weeks in advance, because that was a good hit. That was a perfect shot. If Trump didn't move, he kills him. So make him practice. He never had a gun. You mean to say he's a sharpshooter? He walks out, he bought the gun, robbed the gun, wherever he got the gun from. We got to look at that too. And this is a heavyweight gun. This isn't just a 22 rifle. So this takes some training to know how to use it, especially on a long shot like that. Like I said, it's 150 yards. It's 300 feet. It's the size of a football field.
It's crazy.
It's not an easy shot. And he's up in the air. He's down further. And the angles and the wind, it's a tough shot. And I think he's trained. Thinks, I'm with big people. I'm going to make a ton of money. And I'm gone. Yeah, he's gone he doesn't realize the people who are doing that are going to kill him immediately, and that's the end of the story. And then we can bullshit like the JFK for the next 50 years. Who did what? What happened? No. This is obvious to me exactly what happened. And if Trump would have died, it would have been confusing, and so many people talking so many conspiracy theories, it would be blurred out like the JFK thing. But this isn't. This isn't that confusing. These are not Secret Service people who are trained. These are just regular people walking in the grass, seeing him. Mm-hmm. Come on. They're not trained. And they're telling the people who are trained what they just saw.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody does nothing. Then they saw him moving. When they're talking, you see him moving on the roof a little bit, and they're pointing, look, he's moving. He's sitting up, he's doing this, he's doing that. So they can do that. Regular citizens who have no idea of what a hit is, what anything is.
She screamed, the girl screamed, he's got a gun.
I know, over and over. And there was a guy there with a reddish hair.
Yeah.
And he's saying it to he's talking to the cops. There's a guy just crawled up on the roof with a rifle. I mean, and nobody did anything. Now, I don't think there's a ton of people involved, but some people may have had orders stand down, don't do anything.
That's what I heard.
And I think the guy who shot him is probably part of the plot. He knows as soon as he shoots his 8 shots, bang, he's going to kill him. End of that kid's story. And all that mystery. He's a nobody. He's 20 years old. He's nuts. All this bullshit. I know they'll probably go to the family and everything else. And then a lot of these reporters and everybody, you know, there's so many things like this happen. You're a reporter. You belong to the news or an independent reporter. Come on, bro. Go out and dig it up. You're a reporter. Do your job. Go out and dig it up. Interview everybody and his mother. We could find out who did this.
They'll probably kill him, though.
Well, I don't know. And that's what happened in the JFK thing. Some people who got really close to finding out what was what, they're dead. Now, if guys disappear, you know, guys who are maybe part of this plot and know, they'll either die or disappear, then you know it's an exact hit, an exact plot, and you'll know what side did it. And I think there's only one side available.
Well, wasn't there like a warrant out for the constable? Like they were looking for him and they couldn't find him? He just
Right,
ran.
he's ducking too.
Yeah.
The constable's in charge of the cops. The cop who walked up the ladder and left, they're probably going to ask him, why did that all happen? You knew he was there. The cop went up and saw him and left. What is that about? Who is that? What cop is that? We want him. We want to talk to him. The Senate should put out a Senate committee to investigate and subpoena everybody they can to get him in. This is America. It was a disgrace with JFK.
Yeah.
And it only happened 1 or 2 times before, Lincoln and a few other people. But this has to stop. And we have to make it stop. Because if we don't, then the people with the power run the country, they make the money. Look at all these politicians. They all go in there with bullshit money, $500,000, $2 million. They got 30, 40, 50 million. They're the people making laws. Look at what they're doing. We are suckers.
Oh, yeah.
We don't say nothing. We don't do anything. There's not too much. I'm not asking for no violence. That's the worst thing we could do. Leave that out. But vote. Get up off your ass, like Megyn Kelly said. I walk on glass. Go vote. And watch the booths that nobody's sticking stuff in there. Watch. Make sure we're getting a legitimate count of our vote. Mm-hmm. We don't want to lose that. We lose that, we lose it all. And that's what this is all about. They stay in power. Power, money, greed. It's all about that. Simple. Control.
You know, I'm a woman, Sammy, if you haven't noticed. And the fucking Secret Service women over there ducking behind the stage couldn't holster their weapon, they were, please, women, please. I mean, even Marjorie Taylor Greene is a badass and doing pull-ups and it can handle her shit. That what they had on Trump trying to protect him was a joke. That's how you know it's a setup, dude. Just the worst of the worst.
Right. Women are good. They should apply for every job, including the Secret Service. But they have to be not in the line of fire.
Yeah.
They got to be on the side a little bit, doing other jobs. They should be looking at those roofs if they could see things, put them on computers, do a million things with them. But when the ones that are around the president, part of their thing is to jump on him when bullets are flying.
Yeah.
Now, that's not an easy job. You got to get one of these gung-ho Navy SEAL, ex-Navy SEAL. He goes to become a Secret Service guy. He's used to guns and wars and stuff, and he jumps on the president. It's happened. That's what you need. You're right. Definitely. Not women in that capacity. Now, there's some tough women that could probably do that, but
Sure.
that's not a woman's job. She could do a million jobs there. I'm not saying they're not there, and they're smarter than us, but they're not ballsy like we are.
No.
They're not men.
Right. Right.
And I don't know how he could have a couple of them. Maybe they thought they could have sex with him because he had sex with some porn stars and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
what is that?
I mean, it has
Last
the
week's
questions
questions.
ready for last week.
Last week's question. So she's shutting me off. Let's go and get off now of this part of it. I spoke my piece. So let's get on to questions and things.
Hello, everyone. Let's get into last week's questions. Okay, first, let's give a couple of shout outs from last week. Dave Drick gets a shout out. Sarah Dutch, she said, "Hey boss, love your work, Mr. Gravano, great work and team." Larry Fishkind said, "Black and mild on me, thank you, Sammy." Questions. Dave Drick, what was the most significant event that made you reconsider your life in the Mafia, and how did it influence your decisions moving forward?
The most significant thing that happened in the Mafia for me to change my life was the betrayal of John Gotti to me. When I was betrayed, I loved the guy. It broke my heart. I said this a bunch of times. And I wasn't going to go away and take life without parole for somebody who just got done betraying me and setting me up for it. And I left. And that changed my life more than anything. And I always say I don't hate the Mafia. To me, it's not evil. It's part of my heritage. There's so many people I loved in the Mafia. There's people I didn't like. There's people I loved. And I'm glad I walked away from it. It changed my life in a very good way, positive way. I got good people around me. There's Anna, there's Amina, there's Twinkle Toes over here, fucking around with Sterling. I call her Twinkle Toes now.
500 different nicknames.
Yeah, I got. She's doing it on
She's on TikTok right now.
TikTok. Can I talk about TikTok?
Gaining a ton of new followers.
She says just now, whispering, we got a ton of new followers, and she's doing a great job. She's handling the TikTok situation, and we just got to some new numbers. Can I talk about that?
Sure. 1 million likes.
We came to 1 million likes on TikTok, and that's great job from Sterling and a lot of great people on TikTok. I never really, I watched it on occasion, but I never really got into it. I didn't understand it. And now I understand we're opening up a TikTok store. We were approved. So from TikTok, you can go to where my stuff is.
Buy your shirt that you're wearing.
They can buy this shirt, this Trump shirt. That's my man. I had to wear this shirt today.
You guys are getting more and more in common.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
and
yeah. I know. We're I don't know what he thinks of me, but
He thanked you publicly for outing how corrupt
right,
everything is.
right.
And
He
how
did.
great
He did. He put me on his social media thing on TikTok. Not TikTok, on
Instagram.
Instagram, and we got millions and millions of hit And that was great. And I see some things over here on the table. Is that anything?
Yeah, we're gonna be celebrating with some cannolis.
We're celebrating with cannolis,
They don't follow.
and she's showing you the cannolis. They're moving around. One of them are coming here. I'm going to scarf one of these things right down. What are these things?
Cannolis.
No, this thing.
A little TikToks.
Oh, little TikToks. And I'll put my cannoli right here.
Right to the camera, babe. Lean down. There you are. Right, a little bit lower. A little bit lower.
You see me?
There you
There,
are.
there you are.
Yeah,
So adorable.
yeah.
That's great.
Love Sterling.
She's adorable, and she's brought in this. And for our celebration on TikTok, we have 1 million views, and she's bouncing around with cannolis. All right, take the cannolis. Leave the gun. So now Lily's looking up, and she's standing up finally, and she's probably saying, "Where's my cannoli?" So.
We need a certain amount of likes, and then we'll have Lily dress up like a cannoli.
Lily will dress up like a cannoli.
Yes.
Alrighty.
Like a cannoli, huh?
Yeah, she lost some weight. You know, I took her to the doctors. I was having problems with her. I took her to the doctors, specialists, and everything. She doesn't have cancer or anything bad. They thought that it was possible, but she passed with flying colors. I bought food for her, and it's not the best food. So she's getting old. She'll be 13 in November. So I started buying real good food that's supposed to be very healthy for her. And maybe it's too rich, she's too old, and it hit her belly in the wrong way, and she started throwing up a lot. And I took her to the vet, and then I went to specialists, so everything turned out good. She's got to eat the old crappy shit. So I'm back on that. She hasn't thrown up, so I'll give her that. Maybe she'll put back a little bit more weight. I mean, if she dies, I wouldn't even know what to do.
Boy, babe, don't say that.
No, I don't want her to die, but I'm saying she's 13, you know, she's hitting that age where it's possible. It scared the hell out of me when she was throwing up a lot and doing that. But now she's perfect. She's got her spot, she's laying out, and she's giving me the side eye, like,
It's like, you gotta say my age?
yeah. Yeah, she's a female. She don't want her age put out there. I was only kidding. She's not 13, she's 10.
Or the time she was hiding from you guys at the production house at the Airbnb.
Yeah,
And you were about to like have a stroke out, dude.
I did. I had a heart attack when I lost her.
Yeah.
You know, I was at an Airbnb and she went out. I thought she went out, and I'm all over the place in the yard, in the front. And this girl Melissa was working with us, and I drove around with her, all over the place, screaming her name and stuff like that. And then there was a police car coming, and I wanted to stop him because I saw him going in and out of the alleyways. So he's coming, and I don't know how to stop him, so I pulled right into him like I was going to crash right into him. He stopped. Then I said, I lost my dog, and I explained what she looked like. And then he told me, he says, take your shirt off and hang it on the mailbox. If she can catch that smell from a distance, she'll come back.
Oh, wow.
And I said, what if she ran away from me? I don't know if she ran away from me, but she didn't run away.
Oh, is
And
it
when I came home, we were in the house. I was sick as a dog. I said, I hope that whoever found her, whoever picked her up, has got kids and takes care of her. And I was going to go to bed, and I hear scratching. And I opened the closet door, and Lily was just sitting there with a smirk. I couldn't even believe it. Like, she was in there the whole time. I'm talking about 2 hours, 2.5 hours went by. I had already given up. But she was in the closet, just sitting there waiting for me to open the closet.
Dude, it was like 4:35 in the morning, and I'm getting pings on the email like,
Yeah.
oh, there's posters already up for Lily, and the pictures are up, and all the like fine photo, and it was a mishigas.
We did everything. Melissa was making calls to different programs and things, and we did everything under the sun. And when we came back, we just gave up. We were exhausted. She hopped in bed. I went to the other room, hopped in bed, and I hear scratching. I said, am I imagining this? I got up, I hear more scratching. I opened the closet door, and she's curled up like that, waiting like with her hand, just like that, like I got my hand, waiting for me, like it's about time.
But you guys were like, Lily, Lily.
She didn't react.
Not one thing.
No, nothing.
She's like, whatever.
Yeah. Like, I had enough of you.
Yeah. All right. God, let's go on with some more questions.
All right, we have El Gato asking, Buongiorno, Sammy. Was the outfit really the independent or that independent from Cosa Nostra? And then he also wants to know who was John Gotti's tailor.
I'd like to know who John Gotti's tailor was myself, but he had great clothes. He really did. He went to a top-notch place, and everything was custom made. So, and as far as they were a little bit independent, especially under Al Capone. He was a loose cannon, and they didn't want too much to do with him. You got to remember, Al Capone came from New York. He was a bodyguard. He was with Frankie Yale, and they wound up chasing him. He was too violent, and they chased him. He went to Chicago. The Zips were there. They were very strong, and they took him under their wing. They liked him a lot. He started fighting with the Irish mob. The Zips were against the Irish. They were fighting a little bit, and Al Capone just wailed on them. He did the St. Valentine's Massacre, destroyed them in one shot. And then they made friends again, I think, after Al Capone. But Al Capone was like a wild man. So that's what made them independent. But Sam Giancana and a lot of them were close with the Mafia in New York, Carlo Gambino and people like that. So they were independent a little bit, but not totally.
Okay. JB Weld wants to know, was there any Ndrangheta in New York? And did you have any dealings with them? How did the five families view them?
Now, just give me an explanation. I've heard the name Ndrangheta, but who were they? Was that a Sicilian group, a very dangerous group that came into the United States? Ask the guy who's asking that question.
JB Weld, if you're on here, can you please drop that in the chat?
Because that's who I think they are. I don't think, I heard of them. I never had any contact with them.
They're in Italy. It's a mafia type association in Italy.
They're in Italy. Okay, yeah. So they're in Italy. They're different groups. Italy has different groups. The Cosmoniere. There's a bunch of different groups. In the United States, we ran by the commission. The commission ruled in the whole United States. It used to be, I remember at one point it was 11 or 12 different families. Then it went down and the commission became the 5 families in New York. They had that big meeting, the Appalachian meeting, where they all got busted. There must have been 10 or 12 people, and they were meeting. They were all part of it. There was 12 families that were part of the commission. And then it went down and down and down. And I remember when it was 6. The family, Angelo Bruno in Philadelphia, was a commission member. When he was killed, they lost their seat. They were no longer a commission member. So it boiled down to 5 families that controlled everything. And I'll never forget Chin Gigante at a meeting. I heard him say, not to me, but to other guys, I was there for security only and standing on the side. And he said, when you go over any bridge in New York and go out of New York, the Mafia is totally different. And it is. There's a lot of places the Mafia was, but it wasn't the same like New York. New York was like the Wild West of the Mafia. And why there was 5 families and outside families, Jersey family, the Sopranos were a show based off of them, the Philadelphia family, a family up in Boston. It was the Wild West. A lot of states like Detroit and places like that, there's usually one family. They don't have the same exact problems. They're just dealing with themselves. It's straightened out by their boss. They all understand it. But when you have all them different families, there's a lot of different arguments, different things, a lot more murders. It's a whole different ballgame. So the commission was based out of New York. And the other families, you know, none of them really wanted to fuck with New York. There was just too many, and too many dangerous guys.
Okay, we have Mark Clark. He asked, did Sammy already explain Carmine Cigar Galante's hit in prior chats?
I'm not sure if I explained the hit, but Carmine Galante came out of prison. He was a little crazy. Tough guy, real super tough guy. He was an old man in prison. And in prison, they play handball. And usually if one guy loses, another guy comes on. He would come out and just go first. And these guys were younger than him, tougher than him. But he had the toughness, and they respected that. They loved him because he was a tough old man. They let him go first. So he had that attitude. When he came out of prison, he made himself the boss of the Bonanno family. You can't do that. The captains have to vote you in. He made himself the boss. And he went to Canada. That family in Canada was nothing more than a crew connected to the Bonanno family. He went to meet with them. They were mostly drug dealers, not a tough crew out there. And he was trying to take over. They put up with him for a while, and then a hit was put on him, and he got hit. He had a couple of his nephews or somebody as bodyguards. They betrayed him. They stood out of the way when the guys came to whack him. And there's that famous picture of him laying in the backyard of a restaurant with a cigar stuck in his mouth. He must have had it in his mouth, and when he sees guys coming in with guns, he must have chonked down on it. You know, listen, you're going to be nervous. I don't care if you got balls or not. You see 2, 3, 4 guys coming in with guns, you know it's over. So he probably bit down on it, and it was dangling out of his mouth when you saw the pictures. But he was a super tough guy, very dangerous, and didn't make sense. He couldn't do what he was going to do.
Okay, we have a question from Lorenzo. Actually, it's more of a statement. He said, my grandfather was Philly mob and no longer talks to my family after getting my mother and himself sent to prison. He founded Nifty 50's restaurant. I badly want to confront him. He sits on millions.
He sits on what?
Millions.
You want to confront him? What, did he rob from you?
I don't know. He just said that his grandfather no longer talks to the family after getting his mother and himself sent to prison. But then he founded that restaurant. I guess he has a lot of money, so I don't know. Lorenzo, give us some backstory.
Yeah, Lorenzo, you know, you got to go there, and sometimes in the mob, I'm not saying to do this, but sometimes you got to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Okay, I have David Horel. Sammy, love hearing your stories. I'm from Buffalo, New York, and want to know your thoughts on the Trinidaro family. And have you ever been to Buffalo?
I've never been to Buffalo. I'm very, very familiar with the Trinidaro family in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. When we took Paul Castellano out, there was an article from the boss of the family saying that he was going to come and kill John Gotti. It was in the paper. John Gotti sent me with 2 guys to Florida. They owned a hotel in Florida. He did, the boss. And I went to meet him. They took me up a private elevator on the mezzanine floor. The elevator opened. I came out. One guy stayed outside, and another guy came in with me to introduce me to him. I was a captain already. And there was guys standing on both sides of the elevator He must have had 6, 7, 8 bodyguards there. And I walked over, I sat down at the table with him. His son was the underboss of the family. He was sitting there too. And my guy introduced us. And he was sitting there, his legs slightly crossed and in a real tough, cocky manner. And he said to me, tell John Gotti that there's a newspaper article. There's no truth to it. The newspaper made it up. I'm not going to go there to kill John Gotti. And he was a little cocky, about it, I felt. And I said, no, we understand that. John Gotti don't believe the newspapers. We don't believe what we read in the newspapers. If we did, I wouldn't be here and you'd be dead already. He sat up a little bit like this, and he said, what did you say? I said, you would be dead already. We have 100 shooters with us. But he don't believe anything he read in the newspaper. He smiled, he laughed, he says, that's a hell of a statement to sit down with a boss and tell him something like that. I said, I'm just telling you the truth and how we feel. We thought, when we read it, we put that thought out of our mind. So you have nothing to fear from us. I wanted to reverse the conversation a little bit and give me a little more ground. I guess I did, because the conversation went pretty good after that. And then I went with his son, who was the underboss, and I did a video about this. We walked out and he wanted to go to the beach. So I had good shoes on, pair of slacks, tie and knit shirt. And we walked to the beach, and we kept walking towards the water as we were talking, because there was nothing out but ocean. So you can't pick us up in a conversation or anything like that. After a couple of yards or two, he stepped right into the water and kept moving. So I followed him. I was up to my ankles, then I was up to my knees. When I got a little bit above my stomach, I had money in my pocket, I had a wallet. I tell him, listen, brother, I'm a small guy, I'm a lot smaller than you. He must have been 5, 6 inches bigger than me. I said, a couple of more steps, I'm about to drown. We talked with your father. We weren't worried about bugs. I'm soaking wet. How far are we going to walk out? He started laughing. He said, Sammy, I'm sorry. I got carried away. And we came back in, and nothing. I went to my hotel room and took a shower, changed, and stuff like that. I told this story, and his father passed away. He's alive. And he sent me a message. Sammy, it's a great story. You have no idea how many of us were joking about that situation. I owe you a pair of clothes. Tell me what you want, I'll send you the money down. So I think he's still alive now. That was last year. So I think he's still alive now, and he's running it. So they have a good crew there. I was surprised how they run it. Everybody who gets made gets some sort of a union job, a union boss somewhere. So mob guys are running the unions there pretty effectively. Like I said, they got one family in Buffalo. They listen to the commission somewhat, but they don't have problems amongst themselves. A problem comes up in argument. It's like you and Sterling having an argument. We're in the one office. I get together, we straighten the argument out. It doesn't have to go to 50 people, lawyers and people everywhere. We straighten out our own stuff. That's what it is there. So it's a lot easier to straighten things out. There's a lot less murders because as the boss, I wouldn't let you kill Sterling or vice versa. We would straighten it out. Before you know it, a day later, we're talking and we're all friends again. So it's a lot easier. But they're a good family, quiet family. They conduct themselves good. So I did know that much of them. I never did business with them. They were just too far away. And but that's the Buffalo family.
Okay. I have two really good questions from David Drick from last week. The first question is, what was your biggest moral dilemma you faced in the Mafia?
Moral? My moral dilemma. Like I said, I'm not a religious guy, basically, but I believe in God. Moral things, murder was moral, immoral to me, but it was part of our life. It's part of the things you do. Not every soldier who goes overseas in a war don't feel moral issues when they kill, but they kill for our country and they fight for a reason. Thank God I've never killed for money or greed or power. I killed for Cosa Nostra and what we believe in and where the orders came from. So morally, I thought that was fit. I think God would understand that. Like I said, they make lions, God makes lions, and it makes lambs. And in the Mafia, there's lions, and there's lambs, and that's just the way it is. So I don't feel any moral issues about that, but I do. I'm not crazy about murder. I understand you made a terrible, terrible mistake, or you did something horrible, and you're about to die. I get it. What I really morally bothers me is if I go to a funeral or I know what happened, and I know the family, the wives, the kids, people like that, that hurts me. And morally, I feel that always hurts. It never feels right. For me, they've done nothing. They lost their dad or their husband or somebody. And I'm not going to just say your fucking husband deserved it or this, that, and the other thing. But morally, that always bothered me. Until today. I was just talking to Anna this morning. When I was away in California, I went with the people I was staying with. There was a big group. I'm not going to say all the names. And I got very friendly with all of them. And on a Sunday came and we went to church. It's not like a Catholic church. It's a Christian church. And it's a little different. Their rules, their regulations, everything is a little bit different. Of course, they believe in Jesus. They believe in certain things, but it was different. And I was telling Anna this morning, for some reason or another, that church I went to, at first I thought it was a little crazy. They were jumping up and down with their hands and singing hallelujah, all this stuff. But it did hit me a little bit. I felt when we left and we went to dinner, it just touched me a little bit. I felt good about it. And they told me that this pastor does baptisms and he's about to do one publicly. I don't know how many weeks away. And I told Anna, I feel like going. I feel like maybe I could accept being a born-again Christian. I'm not sure yet, but I might. I really might. I don't kill anymore. I like to kill sometimes. Some people I like to strangle, but I don't. I blow it off, and I blow so many other things off. I know I've changed. I've changed my life. There's things that are done to me that I would kill years ago. I don't now. And I like with those people I went, I like them. At points you hugged, you touched one another. Things like that are something to me that are real. I feel it, I felt it. No, I know it sounds crazy, but I may become a born-again Christian again. Now, it's not completely crazy. When I was in prison, I became a Native American Indian. At one point, I joined another group. What's the name of them again?
The Wiccans.
The Wiccans. And just to see how groups and how different religions react. I wasn't crazy about Wiccans. I understood it. It's not bad. The Indians, the Native American Indians, I went in because they were able to smoke tobacco in the pipe. and they stopped, and I couldn't get tobacco or cigarettes, and I wanted them, and I joined for that reason. But staying with them for a while, I kind of started understanding their religion, beliefs, stuff like that, and I for the 30, 40 minutes, half hour, an hour that I was with them, I wasn't in prison no longer. We were in prison, there was blankets wrapped around us and music playing and passing the pipe and talking. I got to understand their religion a little bit. I got to like it. And it wasn't just for the tobacco anymore. Like I said, I didn't even feel like I was in prison. So I think I'm going to become a born-again Christian. I know a story of a guy who was a born-again Christian with the Colombo family, with the Grim Reaper, Greg Scarpa Sr. And he was a hit guy, and he was with him. His father was a made guy in our family, and he was a made guy in the Colombo family. And he was tough. He did a lot of work. And somehow or another, he became a born-again Christian. I don't know why, but he did. And Greg Scarpa gave him an order to kill somebody. And he told Greg Scarpa right to his face, I can't, I won't, I'm a born-again Christian now. I won't murder people anymore. They killed him. And that's the Mafia. If you refuse an order, you could die. He refused it, and he died. His name was Joe Brewster. His father's name was Joe Brewster Sr. There's nothing we could do about it. He belonged to another family. He refused an order of that magnitude. But he was the guy who became a born-again Christian and refused to kill. So I don't think it's completely absurd for me to do it or try it. If I don't like it, I'll pull away. But if I like it or I respect it, the pastor, the place was Ocean something or other. The pastor was great. When he talked, it wasn't just gung-ho. He joked a little bit. He talked common sense about things that I understand. And he related to me in a good way. I don't know what it was. The music, the fist pumping, the dancing that they were doing, jumping up and down. At first I thought it was a little jerky, but I didn't think so at the end. The hugging of people. My friend Art from California, his son, Chandler, was with his wife. And you put your arm around the person who was next to you. Chandler was on one side. I put my arm around him. A friend of mine, his wife, was with us. She was next to me. I put my arm around both of them. It just felt good. It really did feel good. Some people from the back of me, I don't know if they knew who I was or what, one or two of them put their hands on my shoulder, one put his hand on my head. And it just felt good. So I think I'm going to try that in my old age.
TikTok is telling you to do it.
Who?
TikTok. They want you to do it.
They want me to do it? Here's my people
Your
on
chat
TikTok.
does too.
Yeah,
They want me to do it.
They're saying God bless you.
I don't kill, so it's not a stretch. I think if I did it, I would go back to California and I would talk to that pastor, and I would tell him I would like to join your group. I'd like to become a member. And he's talking about doing something in the next couple of months where they baptize. Now, I don't know the procedure. I know what they do with a baby and a kid. I don't know what they would do with me.
Show up in your swimsuit.
My jumpsuit,
Your swimsuit.
my swimsuit, and they put you underwater? Mm-hmm. I saw that in a movie one time. I don't know. I mean, and then I'd have to have Anna with a 45 and Amina with a 38, just in case they try to drown me. Shoot me out of the way. Get me out of this. So I may do that, and I'm glad I'm saying if you guys are giving me advice, I love the advice too. Yeah. I don't think it'll change me, who I am and what I am and how I feel. I already don't want to kill no more. I have no intentions of it. So I don't think it would change that. It would make me just maybe, if it made me feel better about myself, then I think I will do it.
That's awesome.
Okay,
Just
this-
like I'm about to eat this cannoli.
you eat the cannoli while I ask the
Hold it
second
like
part
a
of the
cigar.
question.
I'll eat it after the thing. Otherwise, I'll have shit hanging from my mouth.
Okay, the second part of that question from Dave was, what psychological toll did living a double life take on you, and how did you manage it?
I knew my Cosa Nostra life was a violent and a different type of life. I didn't want that life for my wife or my children, daughter, son, grandchildren. I didn't have any then, but I didn't want that. I could have made my son. I never did. I never had intentions of doing that. So it was easy to keep it separate. I didn't want them involved in any way, shape, or form. So it was easy. I bought a farm, and there was weeks and weekends we went away, and there was horses and cows, a couple cows and chickens and dogs and a cat, because there's everything on a farm. And it was a different life. I pulled myself away from the Mafia life and put myself in there. I think the girls could tell you I clown, I joke, I do things in my office that is not Cosa Nostra. I don't want them, I don't want it part of it. I mean, it's part of it because we're talking about it, we're doing things. Anna is a psychologist, just about, with a licensed psychologist, and she learns about things in school and here. So there's a lot of conversation, and I'm doing movies, so there's a lot of conversation about it, but we do nothing to anyone. We don't fuck people, we don't rob them, we don't lie to them. It's almost a different life within our office. We talk about it, we play with it in different ways. We're gonna make money with it, we're gonna make futures with it. Sterling, she's 22, 23, she just graduated, she's going to go back as a director, she's going to try to be more and more editing. This is a stepping stone in a good life. So there's no, I don't teach them, let's go rob a bank, I don't teach them anything like that. They wouldn't do it anyway, but I don't teach them that, I don't try to influence them into that life. We talk about it, we deal with it, but it's in a different way. So that's what I did most of my life. I kept my wife and my children away from it as much as humanly possible. My daughter has done interviews. My daughter works really, really hard in her life. She owns a cosmetic place, the Body Depot in Jersey. She's a workaholic. She's always been working. She did some producing and shows. So I've taught them good. She don't walk around like she thinks she's a mafia queen, or she's not abusive to people. She'll fucking fight. She's tough. But she's, a good person to anybody and everybody. So, and same thing with my son. And so I like the fact that I've taken them away from the life. They understand the life, they know the life, but they're not part of the life. And that's something I'm proud that I've done.
Yeah, I remember some of their interviews. Karen was talking with Bunny, Jelly Roll's wife, and she said she remembers a headline coming out on the paper or something on the news or something, and about, I forgot who, something happened, one of the hits, and she comes in the kitchen, and you're cooking breakfast in your shorts at the stove, and she looked at you for a second, and you're just like flipping the eggs or whatever. She goes, nah, it can't be, because they were so, you did it. And when we were doing the scripted show research, Gerard was here talking to the showrunner, and they're like, you didn't know anything? Like, Gerard's like, my dad kept business where business belonged. When he came home, he was my dad. And that was it. We had the farm, I had my horse, he's like, I didn't know. We had no idea. He was my dad. That's how I know him.
And that's what I try to do. I had a good mother and father who didn't teach me anything bad, nothing bad. It's what I was. Somehow or another, I went right into that life, one thing after the other. But I wanted to make sure that my kids had something better. And I'm sure it's not so unusual. I'm sure every woman who grows up and has kids wants their kids to be a little better or a little something, not to follow everything they did, you know. So it's not that abnormal. I did the same thing. Well, of course, my life was much more public and in a fucked up way, but I tried my best to do what I was supposed to do, and hopefully it's worked to a pretty good degree. You know, somebody was talking about my family, about my daughter or my grandchildren. Somebody just said, my grandchild called me up, my son's kid, and said, Grandpa, I want to be you. I says, you want to be me? All right. Yeah, everybody loves you. Not everybody. Not everybody. So he says, well, you're going to be an actor and you're doing all these things. So I said, all right. He's 7 years old. 7 or 8. 8, I think he's 8 now. So I says, all right, you want to be an actor? Yeah. All right, you got to practice. Make believe you're a ghost and disappear now. My daughter started laughing. She said, oh, don't say that. So.
Make believe you listen really.
Yeah. But the person who was judging me and everything said that I am teaching my grandson, 8 years old, how to be a gangster. I said, that's the furthest thing. I didn't do that to my kids. I'm going to do that to an 8-year-old kid. I'm going to make him a gangster.
Oh, come on.
He's going to watch movies, or maybe he'll be an actor. Who the fuck knows, or something. And then I turned around to the person. I said, listen, I know your family turned out pretty good. Your husband's a piece of shit. Your daughter's a piece of shit. Your son's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You turned out pretty good. You did a great job. You're telling me what I'm doing, what I'm not doing. I'm talking to my grandson. What the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
Yeah, that's terrible.
Not teaching him to be a gangster. So, you know, but social media, and this isn't even social media. This is somebody, you know, fairly close to me. I don't want to say who or what.
Oh, no. Well, one of the Christian Bible stories, Sammy, is Jesus said, let them without sin cast the first stone, meaning don't throw rocks in glass houses when you live in a glass house.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and I believe in those things without even being a Christian yet, if that's what I'm going to be. I'm still undecided, but, you know, I appreciate that people are going to say things. I appreciate it because maybe I need that extra little push if that's going to be a good thing. And I think it's a good thing. It can't be a bad thing. It's not something that I'm used to. That's the only confusion I have. I think it's a good thing. And, you know, if I do it, great. If you guys do it, great, because it's a good thing. It's a good thing to believe in something and have a higher power who teaches you good. You know, it's good to be a tough guy too. It's good to be a tough mother, tough love in certain situations. I believe in that. When you got to, teach these kids, sometimes you need tough love. You know, so there's a lot of things I believe in. So, and this is hopefully be maybe one of them.
Last question from last week. Randy Ingram says, if the boss of bosses comes down with dementia, and then in parentheses he puts Joe Biden, but refuses to step down, what are the rules of La Cosa Nostra to have him removed?
We make an appointment with him, with God, and we just make the appointment, we make it happen. Then he can go discuss it with God. We take him out. That's Cosa Nostra. Plain and simple.
Okay, so that was it for last week. We are at it's 2:15 right now. I'm gonna turn it over to Anna to get to some of today's questions.
Thank you, Amina. Sammy, we were talking, when we were in LA with some people, they were talking about Gianni Russo from The Godfather. Is it true? You have one of your members in the chat, Alex Rosas, wants to know, there is a rumor, and he wants to know if it's true or false. Did Gotti send Gianni Russo to go see Pablo Escobar? I didn't even know to ask that.
I don't think John Gotti would talk to him in any way, shape, or form, ever. I mean, I was around John Gotti 24/7. I never even heard his name come up. He played a stupid part in a movie, The Godfather, where he's
Carlo.
the brother of Carlos, and he was a clown.
He was
He's
Mexican.
a fucking clown. He makes believe he knows mafia bosses. He does all these things. Got him apart. Get the fuck out of here.
He slept with Marilyn.
Yeah, all of these things he says, all kinds of weird shit. He slept with Marilyn Monroe. He did this. He did that. I think he's a clown. You know, I know him from the movies, an actor. Some of these guys, when they become an actor, you know, you're acting in a movie. After the movie's over, be you. Don't be. You're not that guy. So, you know, wake up, bro.
You're from Virginia.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp, I mean his boyfriend.
Yeah. So no, I don't think anything he says. I heard him say a lot of things. Where did John Gotti send him?
To see Pablo Escobar
Pablo Escobar.
in Colombia, man.
Yeah, Colombia. No, without a doubt. Pablo Escobar never came up in our language, in our group at all. We didn't deal with Pablo Escobar. Where they dealt with the Italian Mafia dealt with Italy, where they came in from Italy with heroin
The Turks.
in
Poppies.
years and years ago. And then they dealt with people in Colombia. That guy. Who was the guy in Colombia?
Which one? There's a bunch. You're talking about Escobar?
The boss, Escobar.
Yeah, El Padrino.
Yeah, Escobar. There was dealings with him. I heard Escobar's name mentioned, people in Italy, people in France, different countries like that. The French, there was the French underground, the Mafia dealt with them. The French had an easy way to get drugs into this country. They went to Canada. They're French over there, a lot of them. So they have an easy way, passport, they can get right into Canada. And then they smuggled it into the United States. So there was a lot of different connections. But Escobar, Pablo, yeah, Escobar.
Pablo Escobar.
And I never heard his name mentioned. I heard his name, I know who he is. But no, that wasn't with the mob. There was guys, I was in prison with guys who were with them. The twins who cooperated
Chapo?
against them. Huh?
Chapo?
El Chapo. Yeah, they testified against El Chapo. And so I was, you know, but no, we weren't with them. I don't know anybody who was with them. Some of the black mafia guys were with him through these guys, the twins. But there was no Italian people around them, from what I know. It could have been one or two, I'm not sure. But John Gotti, and he wouldn't deal with anybody. He wouldn't deal with this guy in a million years. Never. So, especially something illegitimate. He wouldn't deal with him.
It's
I
crazy.
mean, he was loose with his mouth, but he wasn't stupid. He wasn't gonna deal with some fucking actor about doing drugs with Pablo Escobar. That's crazy. No.
You're going to have to answer for Santino, Carlo.
He talks, he talks a lot. I've seen him talking a lot of times, and I listen for a minute, and then I just go.
Would you ever do an interview with him?
I would do an interview with him, but I'm going to wind up what? Abusing him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do an interview with him, but I would never sit with him. I would laugh in his face. You had sex with Marilyn Monroe? Me too. I would tell him.
She took my virginity.
Yeah, me too. I mean, come on, bro. You got one part in a fucking movie. He's got these big white cap teeth, like smiles. You could see him for 3.5 blocks away. Look, Lily's moaning.
Lily's
You see
yawning.
it? I'm already talking about him. I'm not doing nothing, Lil. Maybe I should
She's
stay with that.
staring at you. Say hi, Lily.
What?
There she goes.
Yeah, you
Adorable.
could come. You're not stopping the whole show. Yeah.
So adorable. Okay, let me jump into these super chats. By the way, Betty Ann, girl, I see you. Let me read your chat. Betty Ann with a very generous envelope for you, Sammy. Go for it, Sammy. Heart, heart, heart. I'm born again, and look how I turned out. Laughy face.
All right. Listen, I think she's a great woman. If she went and she did, she's born again. That's good. And I believe she's a very good woman. If that helped her be a good woman, then that's an encouragement. Thank you, Betty. I thank you. I appreciate it.
Acting Fun for Lions, saying thank you, and just an envelope for you.
Thank you, Lions.
Raghav, I see you. You have several super chats, so let me get to this first one. Hey, Sammy, all Mafia families had drug dealers. Then why was the Bonanno family alone removed from the commission?
Because they were excessive with it. You know, it wasn't allowed. People snuck a little bit. The Bonanno family was excessive. 3/4 of the family did drugs. And the bosses did not put enough pressure on them to stop. Paul Castellano and a lot of the bosses, they did put pressure. So the guys who snuck, and they snuck to use it. They didn't do it openly. You couldn't do it openly with Paul Castellano. When Angelo and John Gotti and them got caught on tapes with these drugs, that was one of the biggest problems, is that they were doing drugs. They were breaking the order, what Paul told them not to do, and they were doing it very openly. But they talked about a lot of other things. They talked about the commission, the bosses. All kinds of investigations started with it. So they did a lot of damage, but not just with drugs. But that's the point. You know, the Bonanno family was more open, and it looked like the bosses might have had their fingers in there, so they threw them out. Go do drugs. We're not going to, go to war with you. You stay on your own. They lost their commission seat. They didn't have a commission seat no more. So 5 families went back down to 4. Were really making all the rules. The Genovese family, the Gambino family, Lucchese family, and the Colombo family. It's not that other families didn't have people, but they were really on a sneak. The bosses tried to keep it down or out. And but they didn't. They were very open with it. They were doing it openly, and they just didn't want to stop. See, even the guy who got killed with the cigar, when he got out of prison, first thing he did is he went to Canada. They do drugs. So now he was making a deal to bring drugs back in. You're taking over, you just made yourself the boss, and you're bringing drugs in? You? The commission says no. You're the boss. What are you telling the commission to go fuck themselves? Then you go fuck yourself, and you're out. And if they go too far, they can get all 4 families against them. When you have 2 or 3 or 4 families against them, you don't stand a chance. You're going to go. There's just too many shooters, too many guys, too many different situations. And your own people would be so nervous and scared with it, they'll betray you. You're finished. But they let them go. Do your thing.
Nice. Thank you, Sammy. Raghav, your second question. Hey, Sammy, many bodybuilders in the 1980s that took steroids developed HIV because they shared needles. How did you protect yourself from AIDS?
I got from AIDS?
From doing the steroids?
Oh, steroids. I took it. First of all, when I took steroids, I went to a doctor. I didn't take from the gym. I went to a doctor when it was allowed. He gave it to. He had an office in New York. You see, when I went there to sit in the office, there was all these muscle-bound guys for contests and stuff like that. So I went to the doctor, and I would get my shots from him, directly from him. And then the rest of them, I would get shots once a week, and the other stuff, he gave me bottles to take, pills. I forgot the name of the steroids, so I was taking pills and shots from him once a week. I didn't take my own shots. I go now to a doctor every week, and I get testosterone and vitamin B. And I could give it to myself. It costs me a little more to go there. But I go there and I do it. It's more for health. As you get older, when I got out of prison, I went to this doctor, and he tested me. And when you're young, your testosterone is high, 700, 800, 900. You shouldn't be over 1,000 because you grow titties, your dick shrinks a little bit, whatever, if that's true. But I know to stay away from that. So when I went to the doctor, my testosterone, he said, I was 70 something. He said, for your age, it's pretty high. It was at 375 and sometimes floating around to 400. So he says, well, what do you want? How's your energy levels? So I said, I don't want muscles and stuff like that. What I want to have is that if this is good, because I know about the testosterone, I said, I'd like to have mine at about 750, 800, something like that. I'd be comfortable with. I'd have more energy and a little tighter, a little more muscle, and I think it would be good. I'd feel younger. I would feel good about it. And he said, yeah, fine. He said 750. We'll keep it at 750, no higher. So I take shots mixed. I take the testosterone, a small shot, mixed with vitamin B, because vitamin B is good for you, but when you take a pill, your stomach kills it. So when you're shooting vitamin B in, it goes right into your bloodstream, and it's very good for you. So I take a shot every Thursday. I go and take my shot. And see, like now, next week I get a blood test. Every month and a half, 2 months, or whatever it is, he tests my blood to see where the testosterone is and everything else, all my vitamin levels and shit like that. So he'll know you're short on vitamin D. Take a little bit of vitamin D. Oh, yeah. What kind of a doctor? He's not like a regular doctor. What is it?
Like a primary care?
No, he's the
Solaris?
primary care, but they're holistic.
Oh, yeah, holistic,
A holistic doctor. So he does all of that. So he checks me all the time. I'm at 7 and a quarter, 750. If I go above that, he'll lower the dose, because I don't want to go above that. For my age, 750 is really, really good. I could ask a few women about that, because it helps in a few ways. I'm going to be honest, it helps in a few ways.
But Tremboli sandwiches.
But it feels good. It gives me a little energy, stuff like that. I don't overdo it. But years ago, I did overdo it. I didn't want. My reason to go is I was still boxing at 40-something years old, and I got slower, tired, a lot easier. And I went to this doctor, and I said, "Give me these." I wanted more speed. I wanted to lose a little bit of weight. I wanted a few things. He gave me this shit, and I blew up like a balloon. I didn't want that, but I got stronger and bigger, and it just happened without me even noticing it. I went to the gym. I used to go to Gleason's gym, and I used to spar with guys. I sparred with a guy, and one day he said, "Sammy, are you mad?" I said, "Mad at what? What are you talking about?" He said, "No." He says, "You're killing me, Sammy. You're breaking my fucking ribs over here. You're hitting me so hard." I said, "I'm hitting you always. I'm not mad. I'm not hitting you any harder." I didn't even realize how strong I was getting. And I did it for quite a while, and then I stopped because I started getting roid rage, they call it. And I would get mad at something or somebody and walk away, and I would say, "What the fuck was I so mad about?" I couldn't even figure out why I was this mad. My wife noticed it. A couple of people noticed it, and I said, "That's it," and I stopped. And it was a little bit before I went to prison. When I went to prison, now I'm a small guy. I was a little tall. I shrunk, but I was a little tall. I was about 5'5", 5'5.5", something like that. I went in prison. I was 198 pounds, and I had a 32-inch waist.
Crazy.
I was like this. I was blown up. That's the fucking roids did that. Plus, I was pretty strong as a kid growing up anyway. But that, on top of it, I became really, really strong. And but I wasn't looking for that. I wasn't looking for muscle. I was looking for speed and stamina, stuff like that.
Someone in the chat said, "Sammy smash." That was great. Okay, Rangob, let me get your last question over to Sammy. Joe Pistone, the undercover agent Donnie Brasco, says that the mob was a very racist organization. What are your thoughts?
I don't agree with that at all. I know there is so many groups we dealt with, Puerto Rican groups, Mexican groups, black groups. So I don't know where that. In other words, he's probably saying that we're racist because to become a made guy, you had to be Italian through and through. It started, you had to be Italian from your father and your mother, both. Later on, being we came here and there were so many intermarriages, they said, okay, you know what we'll do? You have to be Italian on your father's end. And you are what your father is because you carry his name. I never agreed with that. And my argument was, you know, listen, you can't say I'm not going to be a little bit of what my mother is. She gives birth to me. When I go to school, she's the one who helps me. When I'm sick, she's the one who helps me. When I eat, she's cooking the fucking food. When my clothes are torn, she fixes it. You can't tell me my mother don't have some sort of an impact on my life. But again, if you want to just use that bullshit, you are what your father is, that's fine, that's so far. So you had to be at least Italian on your father's end. So I would say that some people might say that's racist. I would say that's part of our heritage. If a black organization said, okay, we're going to be just black people because of our heritage and who we are. Now, could I become a made member in your organization? I'm not black. I may be like you, I might sympathize, I might love you, but I'm not black. So I could understand why they would reject. In other words, they could say, Sam, you could hang around with us, but you can't be made a guy with us because you're not part of our heritage. And that's not being racist. That's just the rules of their gang. I know I wasn't. I don't think they're racist. We've dealt with them on so many different levels. When you're talking about drug dealers, I don't know of a drug dealer who hasn't done business with black people. Black people in New York, look at the big names. They were hooked up with Mafia guys all the time. Number banks, taking numbers or betting sports and stuff, they were hooked up with the Mafia. You couldn't become a black guy couldn't become a made member or a Mexican if he wasn't on his father's end, or Jewish, or anything. It was part of a Goza Nostra rule. That's just not because they're racist. How racist could a guy be? Marries a fucking Jewish broad or a Mexican broad. He's racist. I don't think that statement fits the Mafia. Now, there's some guys are racist. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess in every organization, I don't care which way.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard some fighters guy. I know of a black guy, and I like him, so I won't even mention his name. And he says, a white guy will never beat me in a ring. Some people may not who I'm talking about. Now, if I think that's a racist statement, why would you pick a white guy who would never beat you in a ring? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, there's white guys who are tough. Rocky Marciano was a fucking beast. There was, a lot of good ones. But I think to make that would be like me saying, there'll never be a black guy who'll beat me in a fight. It's racist. I'm picking out a group of people. I think that's what racist means. Mm-hmm. I think, to me anyway.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think racism can go both ways.
Oh, yeah.
I know I did time with Fat Cat Nichols. Tough, extremely tough black guy. All the black guys know who he is. Most unracist guy I ever met. He had his table with his crew. I have the next table with my crew, and we used to talk and rob together and do all kinds of things together. But he ate at his table, I ate at my table. So if you want to say that we're not sitting together, is that racist? No, I don't think it's racist. Whenever we're going to rob things from the kitchen, we would share. Hey, Cat, I got 5 boxes of bananas they were delivering. I got 2 boxes I stole. Here, what do you need for you guys? So that's not racist I played cards with them, played ball with them, handball, fought with them, fought against them, fought with them. I don't know about that. You know, he was traveling with a group. They may say the N-word a lot more than normal. I don't think that's racist either. In jail, everybody uses that word, the N-word. Every hip-hop song uses it. Every black guy uses it. What, do you fucking own that word? I mean, I understand you're not supposed to say it, I don't say it. I popped out of my mouth a bunch of times, but not at a black person. I say it because of a situation. Like I said, I was playing cards one time with black guys, and the officer came to me and said, Sammy, the unit manager wants to see you in the office. And this guy was an Italian guy, a piece of shit. But he was Italian. So I went to the office. He was breaking my balls about where I put my pills. I can't keep them on the table. Fuck you. I'm going to keep them wherever I want. So I get back to the game. He said, what did he want? I said, this fucking N, he wants to break my balls every 2 seconds. So you know what I called him when I said N? But they started laughing. I said, what the fuck is so funny? They said, we don't hear you use that word that much. And it wasn't referred to a black guy. He's an Italian when I called him the N-word. It's just a word. It depends on how you use that word. If you use that word to a black guy to his face like you're trying to put him down with that, yeah, it's racist. That's what I think is racist. But if you're just using that word, it's the same thing with calling me a guinea or a wop or a greaseball. If you used it, hypothetically, the greaseballs are coming from Italy. I get it. It's not racist. It's just the guy's from Italy. And whatever. Now, if you come to my face and you say, you fucking greaseball motherfucker, that word may offend me. So I don't know. I look at racial bullshit in different ways.
Yeah.
Like I said, my army story, when I was in the army, the guy, the hillbilly, was calling the black guy, boy. Hey, boy, give me the, whip it on me, boy. He's calling him boy in a put-down way. So I knew he wouldn't like that because it's racist in a way.
Yeah.
And he called me that too. So I guess he wasn't that racist, the guy. But I wasn't his boy either. You know, I'm not your boy, bro.
Yeah. Like son.
Hmm?
They say son.
Son.
All right, son.
Yeah, son's not bad, but boy, I mean, you know, depends how you use it.
Yeah.
You know, I saw on TikTok, there's a guy, he looks like a farmer. He's dressed like a farmer. And he's going to black people in the thing. You ever see it?
No.
And he tells the black guy, he says, hey boy, give me that package on the thing. So the black guy is stunned. He looks at him, he said, what'd you say? I said, give me that package, boy. But they're being filmed, it's a goof. And then the black guy wants to choke him, he comes after him. Hey, wait, it's a joke.
It's a
You ever see it?
It's a prank.
It's a prank, yeah,
Oh my
prank.
gosh.
It's funny as a bastard. A couple of times he got a beating, but
Well, Luciano in the chat, Trump Gravano 2024, make America gangster again.
yeah, I'm for that. And listen, you got to share that. I'll never be the president. I can't because of my record. But if you really feel that way, vote for Trump. Vote for my man. My man, he's a gangster too. He's one of us.
Yeah.
He's one of us. If you're Italian, black, white, Hispanic, I don't give a fuck. If you're an American and you feel good about being an American and you want freedoms, vote for this guy. Vote him in. Let's get these fucking people away.
Absolutely.
Get them out of office. Don't hurt them. Don't fight them. Get them out of office. Vote them out. That's our power right now. Not fighting, not violence, not guns. Our fucking power is go there, press a button for the guys, throw them the fuck out, press the button for the good guy.
Yeah.
But believe me, it'll benefit everybody in the long run.
Ragav, back in the super chat. Sammy, what is the reason former cops cannot be made? When former army guys can be made, why not ex-cops? Many cops were as bad and as corrupt as mob guys.
Yeah, it's the original oath that you take as being a cop. In your oath, you take an oath that you would lock up your mother if she broke the law. It's a weird type of oath, and the cops are not really our enemies, but they're our enemies. In other words, how can we ever trust you? You took that oath to be this. Now you're breaking that oath and coming to us. We don't trust you. You're not trustworthy. So we're not going to make you. We're not going to give you our secrets. It's too dangerous of a thing. We don't even want, my wife's cousin was a cop. He became a cop. And I didn't dislike him. I liked him when he wasn't a cop. Even when he became a cop, I didn't dislike him, but I avoided him and his friends. I don't want that connection. I don't want to be part of them. You know, and there was illegitimate cops. If you can't take your oath to your police officer friends serious, why do we think you're going to take our oath serious? You're already betraying that oath. And you want us to take you in? No, you were a dirty cop. Whatever you did, that's your problem between you and cops. I'm not mad at you, but I'm not taking you into my circle and have our secrets. Now, a soldier didn't break any oath. He goes out and fights for our country. He kills because he's fighting for our country. He's, a lot of mafiosos did, especially during World War II, some of the old timers, they were in wars. They fought for our country. They went to kill for our country. They're welcome in. I was in the military too. I mean, there's a lot of guys who are in the military. That's not, but taking an oath to be a cop is a different thing. And you took that oath to be a cop, be one. Now you want to betray them and take bribes. You're a dirty cop. We still accept that. But now you want to quit and become one of us. NG, bro. No good. Too dangerous.
Wow.
I'm not saying they're bad people, but they're not a fit for us.
Okay, Zach in the super chat. Sammy, your commission hit video is without exaggeration the best story I have ever heard. Do you have any plans to do any other video about it like you did with the Plaza Suite story?
What video?
The Plaza Suite, they're saying, Zach is asking your commission hit video, are you going to do something with Michael Sapor again and any collabs coming up?
What commission hit?
The commission hit video on the R thing?
Bring Fiala.
So your commission hit video is without exaggeration the best story I've ever heard. Do you have any plans to do another video about it like you did with the Plaza Suite story?
What commission?
Commission hit. Zach, which commission hit are you talking about? Go ahead and chat me in.
The Johnny Keys?
Yeah, are you talking about the Johnny? Probably.
The Johnny Keys was a commission hit. It was one of the biggest hits that I got. And if you're talking about that, I'm talking about that, and that's going to be in my movie. There's no question about it. They're talking to me about making a movie about it because the story is just an incredible story. And it's as high as, when you get a commission hit, it's as high as, that's all the bosses agree that this is your hit.
Yeah.
And my boss, once the commission ruled on it, then my boss gave it to me. So it's the highest hit you can get. Every family's involved in that. All 5 families and the family in Philadelphia. If that's the hit you're talking about, that was a commission hit.
Yes, Johnny Keys.
Yeah, the story is unbelievable. It stuck with me. And that we're working on that's going to be a movie, for sure.
Awesome.
And another story like that, I don't think I'll ever be able to make a hit like that. It's that unbelievable of a story. And that just happened naturally. When it happened, I had no idea it would wind up being a movie or we'd be talking about it now. I just thought this is something that I had to do. I was ordered, but it's a hell of a story. And Johnny Keys blew me away. Yeah. He changed my life. He changed my life that he made me 1,000% Cosa Nostra. Mm-hmm. And he taught me Cosa Nostra in a whole different way. And then he showed me how to die like a man. So that thing did a lot of things to me. I believe that it's a great story, and I didn't think it then as much as I think it now, but I think it'll make a great movie, and it will be a movie because we're working on that now. It's not that I'm working on it; people have an interest in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at Sterling. She heard Plaza Suite, and she goes, Frank Fiale? She's on her game, Sammy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
My little Twinkle Toes knows what she's doing.
Twinkle Toes knows the stories. Jason G in the super chat. Hey, Sammy, my mother Anna turned 70 this week. Can she get a birthday shout out? I'm a big fan who admires your honesty, and I live near Bensonhurst.
Happy birthday, Anna. Now, 70, I mean, we could date. 70, we're getting close in age. I'm not going to date you. All right, Anna. But happy birthday. Have a great time. Have a great family. Enjoy your birthday.
Denver Vicar.
Could I throw you a kiss, Anna? Mwah. Happy birthday.
Sammy, Josh Marshall on TikTok says if he ever wins the lottery, he wants to buy you a 63 Impala.
That's great. I would appreciate it. But if you hit the lottery, I wish you could give me a couple $100,000 with that car. Because I hope you hit the lottery, you hit it for $100 million.
There we go. Deaver Vision. Trump needed a dream team, Sammy. Trump, Sammy the Bull, Ted Nugent, and Kid Rock. It's a dream. But damn, what could we get accomplished?
Yeah. Well,
a kegger.
Huh?
A kegger on a speedboat.
Yeah.
Kid Rock.
So.
Bautista in the super chat. Sammy, I'm a big fan from Dallas. Can you talk about a quick story about how you conducted your group, Peruta, Stymie, and etc. after a hit?
Right after the hit, and we cleaned up, and everything was done, I grabbed them in a group, and I kissed every one of them on the cheek. I hugged them. Great job, bro. I'm never going to say it again. Let's not ever talk about it again. But you guys are the man. Whatever I am in life, would people look at me, bosses, it's you guys. It's you guys. They might not know it. I know it. It's you guys. So that's the way I would treat them. With love, with affection. They went in the street with a gun. They could lose their life. They showed what they are. And I showed how much I loved them from time to time. And when they died, you could hear my videos about them. I did a video with about the old man Peruta. I mean, people are blown away by it. I did it. When I listened to it again, I choked up listening to it. I didn't even, talking about it is one thing. Listening to what you said, sometimes it's another thing. So, and I hope I keep their name alive. A lot of people would say, you killed Johnny Keys. I'm keeping his name alive, his heritage alive. I hope his grandchildren or whoever's left say, that's my, when the movie is made, that's my poppy, that's my grandfather. He was a fucking man's man. That's what I'm doing. I'm keeping him alive. He deserves it. He warrants to be told what a fucking man's man he was. And if people are mad at me for that, I don't know why. I wish that when I die, maybe somebody talks like that about me. I don't know.
Yeah. Anthony in the super chat with a nice envelope for you, Sammy. I observed that people in Cosa Nostra loved being Americans as much as they loved their Italian heritage. Thank you for your military service and loving America. May God save our country.
I agree with you 100%. And Italians, you know, when they came in, they take this country like it's theirs. My father, you know, when I was born and raised, I was 4 or 5 years old, I spoke nothing but Italian. And my father one day said, let's stop talking Italian with him. He's in America with that accent. We have to respect the flag. We have to respect their language and their laws and their customs. Let's talk English with him, teach him English. And they did. And I lost the Italian language a little bit. I know the curse word still, but I lost most of it. But I was fluent. But that's the way they felt. They felt this is our country. We got to live for them, like them. And we have to speak English. And we have to respect their laws. That's the way they were. So they're good people. And I'm not just talking about gangsters. I'm talking about regular, everyday, hard-working people. My father was a painter. My mother was a seamstress. They worked their ass off. And they loved this fucking country more than most people. I'll tell you that. And I learned that from them. So, yeah, this is something that Italian people are very proud of this country.
Rocky Mars in the regular chat, Trump and Keys both had to have their shoes on. Well, Keys had them off. But
Yeah.
Yes, we see you, Warden Hood. He just sent in some great articles about prison reform and what's going on in Supermax, and we'll get to those as soon as we're done, Sammy.
Yeah, great. How you doing, buddy?
How you doing, pal? Sean Peterson with a nice envelope for you, Sammy. Trump 2024, boss man.
Yes, I agree 100%.
Betsy in the super chat, Sammy, I love your stories. Shout out from Miami.
Love you too, Betty.
J. Marie, boss, I was watching the Fargo series and they talk about the Kansas City mob. How connected were they to the New York families?
They were connected. The Kansas City mob, I didn't know anybody from there, basically, but they were connected. I believe when they had that big meeting upstate New York and they all got busted, I believe somebody from Kansas City was at that meeting. You know, a lot of people, you know, they're from the city, so Kansas City is more rural, but they were a good outfit, a good crew. I never heard anything negative about them. They were more to themselves. Like I said, it's not 2, 3 families, there's one. And they're very tight, very secretive. They're smart. They don't go to prison. You know, big mouths sink ship. What do they say?
Loose lips sink ships.
Yeah, loose lips sink big ships.
Let's see. Betty Ann's saying something about Buck. I don't know. It's flying too fast for me to grab it. About dating a 70-year-old. Dave Drick in the chat. Sammy, how did you strategically manage alliances and rivalries within the mob to ensure your position and influence?
I treated everybody with respect as best as I could. If you earned respect, you deserved respect. I gave it. I didn't have problems with people. I had a pretty rough reputation. And I think people in the mob are not stupid. They take that, you know. And if I try to be a bully, then, you know, not everybody's a punk. So, you know, they were like, so I treated my people and everybody around me with respect, that especially they belonged in one way or another, even if they weren't made, if they were just associates. And I think that's what gave me a lot of respect, along with the fact of my dangerous reputation. So I don't think I had many problems. I think I got along good with most of the families and most of the people I did business with. Of course, there's always some jealous, envious fuck or something that wants to, you know, or something that rubs them wrong about you or whatever it may be. I have that now on social media. I got 4 or 5 complete assholes who just want to fuck with me all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
God, nonstop.
I
Speaking
guess
of
that's
that,
half normal.
Speaking of that, Bobo Elliott with a very generous envelope. How you doing, boss? The Cali natives got love for you, bro. No question. What's going on with these bums on the internet? So-and-so and so-and-so. We going to see your address them? Also, love your podcast, Our Thing. Can we see more in the future?
Yes, you're going to see a lot of things in the future, especially when I'm almost sure when I get these movies going and scripted shows going, I'm really serious want to work on the history of the Mafia. I'm learning more and more all the time. I mean, I have a lot of knowledge, but I always look to know more. And that's going to be on there, like my podcast and, you know, all kinds of things. I'm going to try and get as much as I can get on there for as long as I live. I'm going to try and pump that, you know, website and do everything I can do to give good entertainment.
Okay, so here's Betty Ann's question. Well, laugh out loud. I said 70 is too old for Sammy, but not for Buck. Buck does not discriminate.
Yes, Buck, he don't give a fuck if you're young or old. He don't give a shit.
No racist bone in his
No
body.
racist bone in his body.
Elgato, Sammy, what could motivate a man to die assassinating President Trump?
I don't know. The kid's probably a half a fucking idiot, a fucking retard. I mean, I'm not supposed to use that word, but and they promise him things and do certain things. I really don't know, because you know, it's not in my mind. You can't calm me to do something crazy and I'm gonna die. I mean, if it's for the cause, like fighting for my country or the Johnny Keys hit, I did things that I didn't know if I was gonna make it or not. But you're not gonna get me to do just crazy shit. I won't do it. So I really don't. I can't. It's hard to think through a guy who's that fucked up to do something like this. Whether you like him or not, what do you give a fuck? You don't even know him. I mean, what is it your business? You know, I can't. It's, you know, what determines a kid who runs it, is in school with everybody? All of a sudden, one year he'll come in school, he'll kill 14 kids, 3 teachers. I do not. It's a better question for Anna, who's almost literally a psychologist. I don't understand that mentality.
Yeah.
You can go back. People will go back, psychiatrists and people. What was their birth like? What did happen with them? I don't know. Thank God it never happened to me, so I don't know how to even answer that question, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
No, I just don't know. My brain isn't like that. I can't even function around what would make this kid do that. You're 20 years old, you got your whole life ahead of you. You don't know Trump. You don't, what's the fucking, what are you doing? You know, in craziness, sometimes there's no answer for it.
Yeah.
What makes a serial killer kill people for no fucking reason? There's so many women out there. Why would a guy go and rape a woman? And then you find out from psychologists that it's not a sexual thing. They love the screaming, please don't do it. And the more she screams, the more she's scared, the more he wants. That's what gets him off. I don't have no idea what that is, me personally, because that's not what gets me off. To hurt a woman, and that gets you off in sex. So I can't. It's hard for me to answer those questions honestly. I don't feel those thoughts or feelings, so I don't even know how to answer those questions. Why would he do that? I don't know. Now they're gonna go back. What's his mother? What's his father? We could blame this. We could blame that. I don't know. And does it really matter? He's dead.
Yeah.
You know, and we don't need people on the planet like that. It's a sin to say, but better off they die at birth or something. I don't know what's wrong with them or how they get like that. I know if I was abused, I would want to be a better person. If my father beat up my mother, I would never want to beat up a woman because I would never want to see that again. Maybe I'm just the opposite of that. I see my mother. Could I say that joke?
No. Okay.
Why? I think it's a
Gamalier-
perfect time.
No, I'm going on to the next. Cavalier Carian Cruz with an envelope for you. No comment, no question. Mark Clark. Could Neil have ultimately saved John Gotti had he lived?
You know, I personally know that Neil said, I don't know when John Gotti and Angelo talked about killing Paul Castellano, Neil was straight up Cosa Nostra. And here's an answer. He said, no, you can't have my approval. You fucking guys broke every rule in the book. And now you want to kill him. Why? What the fuck did he do? 1. 2, he told them, I will sit down for you and try to save your lives. He didn't say he will. He says, I will sit down for you and I will try and save your lives. If you're scared, run and don't ever come back. So that's what Neil told them, John and Angelo. Frankie Chico was right there when that happened. I knew about it an hour after it happened. Maybe I'm exaggerating. A couple hours after it happened. So that was Neil. And that's why we loved him. I mean, he wasn't a big fan of Paul, but he was his underboss. He stuck by the rules. No. You don't kill the boss. The boss is the boss is the boss. He wants your tapes. Give it to him. He's the boss. I'll sit down for you. I'll try and save you. That's an answer. That's a great answer. And they probably could have saved them. They would have took John down and put them on the pay me no mind list, but he probably had enough clout because he was that good of a man. He was that good of a man he saved me at a sit down. He was a good man all the way around, but he's not going to promise you broke every rule in the book. You want to kill him now. And it made so much sense. I don't know what it did to John and Angelo, to be honest, but I know to me, I think to Frankie, that made all the sense in the world, bro. I want to kill Twinkle Toes here. For whatever reason. For whatever reason, I did. But I broke all the rules. She didn't do nothing. Because she's the boss, I'm going to kill her. I got to get her out of my way because I got a problem. So I want to break all the rules in the world, do the worst shit in the world. Now I'm going to kill her to get her out of the way. That don't make sense to a good person. And Neil was a good person.
Mark Clark is also asking, who proposed and made John Gotti?
I think it was Charlie Wagner's was a captain. I believe he proposed John to become a captain, to become a made member. And later on, he got sick, Charlie Wagner's. And he proposed John to become his acting captain. And then when he got sicker, he was proposed to become the captain, and Paul made him the captain.
See, thank you, Sammy. Pitar, in the super chat. Hey, Sammy, what do you think about the fact that Hollywood has given the mob what I call the Robin Hood treatment, like pirates and Old West outlaws, where they are made to look like heroes?
Listen, you just said it perfectly. You know, the Old West cowboy movies, they were made to look like heroes. They weren't always heroes. They did a lot of ugly things to Indians. But they were made to be heroes, and they were heroes, a lot of them. Not all of them, obviously. Robin Hood was made to look like a hero. He was a fucking crook who stole from the rich, gave some to the poor, and kept the other half, or most of it. And they made him look like a hero. That's Hollywood. That's entertainment. That's the way it's supposed to be. When they looked at the Mafia, you know, a lot of conversations happened with the movie The Godfather. It really made us look like heroes because they went through this. I'm going to explain this carefully. I don't know, you're going to verify a few things. They turned around, they said, we don't want it just about murders. We want to know about their lives, what they did, every little thing. So when you look at this Mafia Godfather movie, you can love them. You can be mad at them. You can hate them for a while. It's great entertainment, a great movie, and it's a great understanding. Now, I don't want to mention the names, but the people I'm dealing with, Aaron Kaplan, I don't give a fuck, I'm going to mention names. Aaron, Nick Pileggi, Terry Winter, what the fuck are they saying to us right now? The murders. Yeah. We know the murders.
We know it all, yeah.
We want to know everything about you. They interviewed my wife, and they told my wife, tell us everything good about him and everything bad about him. And be honest. And they're doing that with so many fucking different people. Mm-hmm. Louise is an ex-girlfriend. They're doing that with her. There's people they're talking to I don't even have control over. Because they want to know every single thing about me. They're talking to the FBI, the DEA, the New York State Organized Crime Strike Force, lawyers, news people. I don't even know who they're talking to.
Yeah.
And that's going to make a great movie. Am I against that? No, I'm saying do it. Put it out. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Every part of it. Put it out. I don't want a bullshit movie. It's better I'll get hurt my feelings or whatever. Put it out.
Absolutely.
Put it all out. So, and that I want it to be a great movie. I want to leave that behind. If it's a great scripted show, and I think it will with the people I'm dealing with, those names I just mentioned, they're great people in Hollywood. That's what they care about. That's people who made The Godfather. That's what they cared about. That's what made it a great movie. Because when they take that feel and they have that ability and that mindset, now you know you're dealing with powerful people. Now, if I got things I'm ashamed of, I better buy earplugs when it comes to that part because it's going to be there, whether I like it or not. So, I mean, I'm a partner in this thing, so I do have a little bit of a voice, but I don't know if you guys heard the couch story. I'm going to try and leave that out.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Let's see. You have a fan named Roy DeMeo. Very generous envelope for you, Sammy. We are over 2 hours, so I'll wrap it up with this last super chat. Again, anything we don't get to today, Amina's going to handle at the top of next week. Roy DeMeo, Sammy, it's because of your channel I went down the organized crime rabbit hole 4 years ago, and now I eat, sleep, and breathe Mafia history. I just visited Sparks and the Ravenite 3 weeks ago. Thank you, pal. I wish you and your family all the best.
Thank you, and I'm glad. You know, when I do the history of the Mafia, it's people like you who are going to understand the Mafia when I get done with this history of the Mafia. Like you, they've never ever understood it. Like I'm saying, I hope my movie is I'm dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's and holding back nothing. And you're going to love the history of the Mafia when I do it. And I want to leave the whole country what the Mafia really, really was. There's so much bullshit going on this internet. I mean, this social media stuff. Guys lying through their teeth. They don't even know. I don't even know who the fuck they are. One guy, he's a big shot. He was behind John Gotti. Yeah, here. He says in things, he says there's a picture, right?
Yeah.
And in the picture, somebody standing behind John Gotti like this, like a fucking mocus. Look, those are my eyes. I'm standing with John Gotti. Those are my eyes. What the fuck kind of retard are you? That makes you a big shot? Oh my
photo
God.
bomb?
To see his eyes? So, and some of these people are fucking retards. Some of them are bad. I try to leave. I try to stop. I stopped. I was fighting for a while. I stopped. I want to leave out all my fighting, let them say what they want to say, do what they want to do.
Yeah.
I'm not even wasting my time.
Yeah. They
There's
turn on
so
each
many
other.
good things. Like I said, California has left a little mark on me when I was gone for the 4th of July for 4 or 5 days. It really has. I'm not crazy about California. A lot of traffic, high numbers, high taxes, high every fucking thing. But I met some fucking people that are just fucking out and out good, great people. And I'm really impressed with it. And I'm going to go back soon. And they're doing nice things with me, for me, working together, talking together. And that's what I want to do with my life now. I want to enjoy life, people around me, stuff like that. And I'm going to try and get, I'm spending a fortune on food. Now, if I can get somebody to stop Amina from eating, I could probably make another couple of $100 a week. Easily.
Easily.
We went over it 2 hours and needed some food.
Oh my God.
But she don't gain an ounce, by the way.
She don't
not
gain nothing.
She should be 300 pounds, but she's not.
I would be 500. I'd be my 600-pound life if I ate like Amina. Amina's like $120. Sammy, there was one question that was, I liked it. It was in the regular chat, and one of your fans wants to know if you could talk to 30-year-old Sammy the Bull and tell him, this is what you're going to be doing in your golden years. What would you tell him? What would you tell the guy?
You know, I talked with people in Hollywood, and I wanted to do this. I'm really not supposed to say it because I really want to do it. I wanted to do this. I wanted to have a guy sitting down at a chair with a little table next to him like this, with a gun. And he's all dressed up. He's putting on a white shirt, and he's got a tie getting ready. And he's getting ready because it's the day young Sammy the Bull, at 31 years old, is going to go get made. And I want him to hear a voice. And the voice in the shadow tells him, Sammy, I know where you're going. You're going to get made today. Tano proposed you. Paul Castellano will be the father of the family, and he will make you. And you will think that this is the best day of your life. And the camera starts to focus. It's me. This kid is me when I was young, and they can do this camera trick I want them to do. So it's me talking to Sammy, who's about to get made. And then he's starting to see me. He goes for the gun a little bit, and I tell him, the gun, you can't kill me. I'm your future. And he lets go of the gun. You're going to kill friends. They're going to try to kill you. You're going to do 20-something years of your life in prison. And talks to me like an older brother or my future. I would love to do that. And I've been talking to people in Hollywood. Now, it would take a camera, a special camera, to look at my face when I was 31 and put it on an actor who sits there. But you see my face when I had 20, 30-something years old, 30 years old. And I'm talking to him as I am. What do you guys think that would look like? I think that would look incredible.
Yeah.
I would love to do it.
Yeah.
Now, you guys heard it here first. If it ever comes out...
I mean, I'm just thinking that, like, he's telling this great idea. Everybody in the chat saying that's an amazing idea. They'd love to see it. Now he's going to have 5 guys do the idea.
I know. And other people will do it with themselves. I don't care. But, you know, it would be such a thing. It answers your question. What would the young Sammy do and think when he hears his future? Face to face. And then the face starts to gradually go away and disappear.
Yeah.
Does he continue getting dressed and go to get made after what he heard? Or does he just put the gun away, get up, take the tie off, out the door, and don't get made?
It's crazy.
What does he do? I would love to do this,
Yeah.
bro.
It's like,
And
yeah.
if I do, then I need a special camera, I need all kinds of bullshit. But it could be done. And if I do it someday and it comes out, you could say, I heard it a year ago.
Roll tape.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, guys, it's time for me to go. I'm getting the old buzz. Amin is hungry, so
I hear a tummy growling.
I can hear her stomach. Adios, motherfuckers. I love you guys. I really do. Go Trump.